Donald Trump is facing multiple indictments. Yes, he is. And he's the Republican frontrunner. Hunter Biden is also under investigation. What impact do you think both of these issues will ultimately have on the election? In some ways, that's the $64,000 question, right? There's a theory that the Trump indictments have hit critical mass and make him unelectable. I don't know. First, since the indictments in the Republican primary, Donald Trump has maintained his lead. If anything, he's increased his lead to about 55%. How can that be? Well, because the people who are voting for Donald Trump are probably the most extreme people in the country who really believe the system is rigged, including the justice system. And I think what they do is they dismiss these indictments as political attacks. The government is the evil empire. It's controlled by Biden and the Democrats. The Attorney General of the United States is a Democrat. Special prosecutors were Democrats. And this is what happens now in this toxic political environment, they would say. They have politicized and weaponized the Justice Department. So in the Republican primary, they indict Donald Trump, and the Republicans say, yeah, politics. And by the way, I now double down on my support for Donald Trump because he's the person who's going to drain the swamp. He's the anti-establishment, anti-system person. And the system stinks. Now, they are not alone in that characterization. And that's why it's a major problem, I think, for this country by and large. I've mentioned this before, but it bears repeating. Alvin Bragg, a Manhattan district attorney, indicts Donald Trump. First one, 76% of the American people say it was, quote unquote, politically influenced. Now, just think about that for a second and think about what that means. 76% of the American people is a phenomenal number, especially in these divided times. And what they're saying is damning. A prosecutor used the Justice Department not just to investigate, but to indict a person. And he was, quote unquote, politically influenced. 76%, a majority of Republicans and a majority of Democrats. You can't have a more cynical, skeptical view of American society and our governmental system than saying our justice system has reached the point where we will indict political opponents. I don't think it started with Joe Biden. I think it's been there for a long time, and it's been growing, right? The Nixon White House had played politics with the Justice Department. Other administrations have played politics with the Justice Department. Donald Trump, Bill Barr played politics with the Justice Department openly, right? Donald Trump said in interviews for potential attorneys general, I want to make sure you're loyal to me. It's not a coincidence that a Democrat appoints a Democratic attorney general, a Republican appoints a Republican attorney general. So it's not a new concept that you could have political influence in the Justice Department. And it's not just the federal Justice Department, because our justice system is made up of politicians. Well, how can you say that? A local sheriff runs for office. They are elected officials. They want votes. They want headlines. They want to take popular positions. A local district attorney runs for office. They need to get elected. To get elected, they need to appeal to the public, and they need to play politics with the public in their job. U.S. attorneys are appointed by the senators who are in power at that time. So a U.S. attorney will appoint and pick a U.S. attorney for their state. They're then confirmed by the Senate, but the unwritten rule is if it's not a candidate who is pleasing to the party in power, they're not going to confirm them. So technically the president appoints, Department of Justice appoints. Yes, only if you can get confirmed. And you can't get confirmed unless the party in power confirms you. This is especially true in the Senate because they can just block a confirmation for 9,000 reasons, and it just goes into the closet never to see the light of day. So U.S. attorneys are politically appointed. And U.S. attorneys then want to make sure they stay U.S. attorneys, that they're reappointed, or that they maybe have a political ambition to run for office or have political ambition to become a judge or whatever. So it's not a foreign concept that American people should be suspect of the Justice Department because they are politicians and they are influenced politically. But to the extent that 76% of the American people say the indictment of the President of the United States, this is not just an accusation that a district attorney is using the office and an investigation to generate headlines, which happens all the time, I believe, and I think most Americans believe that. This is the next step. A district attorney takes a step to indict. If you indict and you convict, the person could potentially go to jail. You're doing it with the President of the United States in the middle of an election. This is really a situation that is more than eyebrow raising. And where do we go from here? You know, this is a fundamental basis of the relationship, right? This is a married couple, and you don't trust your spouse from a basic fidelity point of view. What kind of marriage can you have? What kind of relationship can the American people have with their government if they believe the Justice Department, which was the foundational institution of the government, right? Law and order, security, the ability to put you in jail, probably the single most powerful act by a government, absent declaration of war. You can imprison someone, take someone's freedom. Well, I think that power is corrupted and is political. Again, a bigger problem than Trump. And it's not going to be resolved in this election. And it really is the litmus test for trust overall. Again, going back to the tortured analogy to a marriage, I don't trust you to be basically honorable in terms of your vows. What kind of relationship can you have if that's the starting point? And that's going to be a long-term problem, but it's something that we have to come to terms with, because post this election, that lack of trust is going to be there. And then you see, it's not a stretch. If 76% of the American people say an indictment is politically influenced, well, why are you shocked when they say we don't trust the election system? And now an election system is logistical computers and voters and back rooms and paper ballots. Once you have that distrust and you confirm the distrust, yes, I distrust the Justice Department, I distrust the election system, I distrust your ability to make legislation that is in my interest rather than your donor's interest. I distrust your ability to really represent the American people as opposed to represent your political party and your political ideology. So it's a corrosive crack in the foundation. It's a cancer in the foundation, and it spreads. So in the Republican primary, certainly, indict Donald Trump. And you prove the point of the Donald Trump supporters. This system is all political. Hunter Biden plays to the same skepticism. If you're a Republican, you say Hunter Biden has done bad things. The press on Hunter Biden has been obviously very negative. On his personal situation and his personal history. Press has raised legitimate questions on Hunter Biden. And if you have that mindset of distrust, you say, yeah, Donald Trump, this government is purposefully attacking for political reasons. And Hunter Biden, it's protecting for political reasons, because it may reflect on the government. Now, that's viewing the situation with prejudice. If you want to be objective, maybe in the Republican primary, they dismissed the 3 indictments. I'm not sure that happens in the general election with Donald Trump. I think in the general election, people say 3 indictments, and these are serious indictments, and you listen to the facts. I do believe it's going to have a significant negative impact on Donald Trump. Is it in and of itself disqualifying? I don't know, but it's going to be close. How do you elect a man with these serious indictments against him? On Hunter Biden, objectively, but skewed because I'm a Joe Biden supporter, I understand the personal issues around Hunter Biden, and I think everyone feels for him on a personal level. He's gone through difficult times, difficult issues. But I have not seen any factual evidence that draws a connection between Hunter Biden and his business interests and interference with Joe Biden or assistance by Joe Biden. The Republicans had a big hearing where they were going to document that Joe Biden was a silent partner of Hunter Biden in his work with Ukraine and an oil company. What did come out was Hunter Biden did get his father, Joe Biden, on the phone, Joe Biden did have discussions with business associates of Hunter Biden. But after all this fanfare and hoopla by the Republican committee, all they had was Joe Biden talking to business associates about the weather and about how's the fishing and things like that. They had no evidence that Joe Biden actually conspired with Hunter Biden or assisted Hunter Biden or was influencing policy to help Hunter Biden. There was an appearance that Hunter Biden was using the association of his father. I think that would be a fair assumption. But besides the relationship, I saw no evidence that Joe Biden used his governmental position or power to assist Hunter Biden. So I don't think the situations are analogous. But again, it depends on your starting point. If you distrust the governmental system, if you believe Alvin Bragg indicted Donald Trump for political reasons, then you are prone to believe Donald Trump is being indicted on these other indictments for political reasons. You're also prone to believe that Hunter Biden is not being indicted for political reasons. So the underlying distrust is going to color both. But I don't believe they are equivalent. I don't believe there's been any evidence to suggest they are in any way equivalent. I don't see the nefarious or criminal wrongdoing by Hunter Biden. Is there a possible IRS tax case against Hunter Biden? That's being discussed. But for there to be any equivalency, you'd have to have Joe Biden involved in a potential criminal activity with Hunter Biden, and no one has brought that forth. But it just is going to stir the pot of cynicism and skepticism and distrust and negativity in this country. And that's should be concerning to all of us, because the lack of trust is destructive to the relationship. And there is no relationship without trust. And that's what we're seeing.